So I was able to find a review from Billboard for the single Resurrection, which to me, that was my favorite song off of Creature back when I was 11. I remember rocking that song pretty hard. So Billboard reviewed the song favorably, calling it a killer slice of pop injected angst and as lyrically intelligent as it is sonically striking. I thought you would enjoy that review.
It's lovely. I don't recall reading that review, but I tend to remember the brutal reviews more than I remember the good reviews. But that's, it's a lovely thing to say.
I had the original drummer from Papa Roach on the podcast, and when I shared a few nice reviews with him, he said the exact same thing. He's like, "Man, where were you with those reviews back when they released them? Because all I remember is them calling us a horrible band, and this is a terrible album."
Yeah. It's you remember the bad reviews, but the bad reviews also really motivate you.
Yeah, I've heard it takes, I think, 10 compliments to negate just one, something negative that's been said. That's the way the brain works, is you need 10 positives to offset one negative. And I think it's a survival mechanism that something negative could be life or death. So that's why you zone in on it and you remember it.
I also remember some of the negative reviews being very well written. And
they took their time with those.
No, one of the first reviews from Toronto, I used to remember it verbatim, but I do remember them saying something like, remember that episode of Family Ties where Mallory goes to the Strawberry Bowl homecoming dance and there's a band playing? Well, this is that band. And that was a review of us live at Lee's Palace in Toronto.
Oh, man. So Resurrection, great single, super popular, one of my favorites. You actually have a story that we almost had a Creature album without that song. Is that correct?
Well, no, you didn't almost. Because the second record was tough to write. We had moved to Montreal, and we had this rehearsal space at 1400 Saint Laurent, and we would work in there, write in there, record on a 4-track, and we had gotten to the point where we thought, okay, we're done. We've written the record. We think we've got everything we need, and we brought it to EMI, and they said, we think you need to go back in and write a bit more. And of course, our response was, we know what we're doing. We went back in and Resurrection came out of those next sessions. I can't remember what else came out of those sessions, but Resurrection, arguably one of our most important songs, came out of those sessions. And this is something I brought up with the guys from the label when I run into them. And they brought up with me. They said, I remember we pushed you guys pretty hard. I hope there's no bad feelings about it. And I always tell that story back to them. And I explain, in retrospect, we could have gone out, put that record out, and maybe it would have been great. But we wouldn't have had Resurrection. And that was a really, really important too. Luck.
Yeah. To me, that was the song. Like when I think of Creature, I think of Resurrection. So it was important. Yeah.
And you're in a band. There's always the danger of believing that, not necessarily fully believing your own hype, but getting to a point where you really feel, hey, we did this on our own the first time. And so I think we know what we're doing. But all those other ears, all those other people that listen and comment and have been working in the industry for years, they're really important. They're really formative. Even if you don't always see eye to eye, you don't learn anything unless you listen to people that you may disagree with. And that's in music and in life.